Happy Sunday night to you. you know, just checking back into the social media space. And I caught this video and I saw it yesterday. And I was going to talk about it on my live stream, but no, I didn't end up getting to it. But it's interesting. This election has a lot, the election results has a lot of people emotional. And you know, people are sort of flip flopping their positions about so many different things. Now, I think this election cycle has kind of opened up the consciousness of a lot of people in so many different ways because it was so hyper polarized. I think that there was so much racial tensions on the lines, if you will, because you had this black looking woman, or at least this woman being propped as a black woman and an Asian woman. She was being propped as this beacon for black women, right? Black young girls, right? My kids dad, you know, he had my little daughter, in this mindset because he's a staunch Democrat. That's why we're not together because they're kind of emotionally irrational to me. But he had her, oh, Kamala Harris, the Kamala Harris ran. I'm like, no, honey, Trump won, right? And then, and it's like, why do kids have to be emotional about Kamala losing, right? It really, to me, the Democrats, they're good at creating beacons, and they weren't able to create a beacon this time, right? So you got a lot of women, they're upset. And I remember like a couple of years back, there was this little, I don't know, trend of black women, counseling other black women about exploring, love and opportunities outside of the black American race, right? And they had all kinds of rationalities for that. Oops, give me 1 second. Um, where is she? Thanks. Yeah. Here, you want this? Okay, thank you. I appreciate you. All right. Sorry about that. Hang on, honey. Give me 1 second because we got to wrap it up. And I'm not going to be on long, I promise you. All right. So I wanted to go through this video real quick because I got to put my kids down. We got to start the day. Yeah. So this is from, what is it? Neferkari T. Dessalines. I don't know how to say this dude's channel's name, but he is a pro black man. Okay. And he is kind of talking about what they call divestors. Now, you're going to hear the word divestors. Honestly, I really never paid attention to this word in connection to the black community until I kind of got more conscious, right? But in the conscious community, I guess they call black women who date outside of black men, they call them divestors, right? And this is specific to a lot of times when black women are going towards white men, right? And so he has a video that he put out called Divestors in Shambles After Donald Trump's Victory. And I'm like, here we go, right? And I'm trying to figure out what this brother is talking about. But what he's talking about kind of makes a lot of sense. I never really thought that this was going on, but I kind of see the trend now. All right.
Yeah, we back.
So now, shout out to
let's get into it.
This brother.
Yeah, we back. Yeah, we Donald Trump are on fire right now. And I've been dropping multiple videos discussing the topic. But now we're gonna dive into something interesting. Now, like I said, I'm not jumping for joy for a Donald Trump presidency because as we already know, on his road to the White House on the campaign trail, he targeted my community, right, in order to galvanize his supporters. And even when a lot of his false statements and fabrications came out to be false and were debunked, he still doubled down on the nonsense. So obviously, I'm not riding for this guy at all, right? If
So
anything
this
happened
is
to
a
him, I
cat
wouldn't
coming
even give
from
a
the
damn.
conscious
But
black
like with anything
community.
else in life, there's positives and negatives. And I'll say this: if Kamala Harris would have won the presidency, bro, yo, black love might have been over, bro. It might have been over for black love, bro.
So his whole approach to this conversation is about black love, black unity, right? And he's kind of calling out all of the black women, especially when Biden won, for example, who were on the mic telling black women that we need to explore other races. We should date outside of our race. We need to just be happy. We need to do all this stuff. This is coming from a lot of these Democratic black women, right? This was huge. I was looking at all kinds of different blogs showing up in my feeds. It was like the algorithm was targeting black women. Like, you don't want a black man. You need to just find yourself a white man and be happy. That's what the algorithms were feeding me, at least. So I was catching a lot of those blogs of black women telling, basically other black women to divest from black men and be happy.
Now, for those of y'all that know me, I'm a very staunch advocate of the black family. I believe in the black family unit. I am a product of the black family unit. My parents have been married since the 80s. My grandparents was married since the 40s. And that's on both sides of the family. And the only reason my grandmothers are no longer with their husbands today is because my grandfathers are dead. Right? That's the only reason. If those men were still alive today, they would still be with those men because, like they said in the vows, till death do us part.
So this brother is a staunch advocate for black people creating black unions, creating other black people and family. He is not a champion of interracial race mixing. So you can imagine, when brothers like this are catching these blogs from these Democratic black women telling, and it's not even just Democratic black women. Conservative black women are just as notorious for it. They don't even care about black men, right? But there's this mindset with black women that is being pushed, or pushed towards black women, where divesting from black men is what is the pathway to our happiness, right? And you see this a lot, but you will see
So,
the
like I
liberal
said,
women really going hard for it.
I am a firm believer of the black family. I'm always going to defend the black family against any attacks. And anybody coming against the black family, I will attack you. I will come after you. I will shit all over you. And there's a lot of women who
This
probably
brother
don't
is
like when
very
I make these
passionate. We
videos. And I
see this.
understand why, because they hit dog gon' holler, right? But guess what? I am a black love supremacist. So if you are subscribed to my channel and that offends you, if that bothers you that I'm a black love supremacist and I shit all over your interracial dreams, then you can unsubscribe from the channel. Now, I've been on social media. I've been looking at the reactions to Trump's victory, and I see.
I don't really have such strong convictions as this brother when it comes to that. I think of things like, it's interesting. I would say at one point in my life, I think that I might have been open to interracial dating, but I never really took relationships with like non-black people very seriously. They were kind of just like fun, if anything. I've always sort of been hesitant to interracially date just because I've always felt like it was offensive to black men. And even though a lot of black women are like, we really shouldn't care what offends them, right? They should learn how to treat us. They should X, Y, and Z. I do feel like, when it comes to societal perceptions, the targeting in society, the marginalization, the narrations in society, I do believe that, black people, black men, specifically have been targeted, in a manner that no other race of men have been targeted. And this is not playing the victim card. Some people think you just facilitating a conversation and all of a sudden you trying to play a victim. It's like you need to define and understand what a victim is. Because people just talking about stuff does not mean that they're sitting around victimized, idiot. It's always these passionately ignorant people coming out, stop playing the victim. And it's like, do you even know what playing the victim looks like? Because that's not what's happening over here. We're just having conversations. But, anyways, me personally, I have come to see how people in society communicates about things. So, for example, I am on X, right? Between, I would say, YouTube and X is where I get most of my media from. And on X, I would say in the last, couple of years, I have noticed, just open ended conversations about this and that. And I've actually heard how white men specifically talk about the preservation of their race. And they talk about their rationality for feeling like they need to preserve this idea of their legacy, their heritage, or whatnot by not interracially mingling. And when you understand, even non-black people's perspective on this conversation, it makes you even more hesitant to want to explore those things. Me personally, I have kind of concluded in my life that it's just more comfortable for me to align myself with people like myself, romantically. I rather create legacies and generations, with people that look like me. And a lot of people, they make these arguments about financial gain, right? But, my whole thing is, I think the strongest people are the people that understand how to struggle. I think the strongest people are the people who learn how to stay in union even when there's obstacles. I mean, that's really the true meaning of for better or for worse. And I think that when I listen to some black women's, rationality for dating outside of the race, it's really all about the financial security, right? It's all about, I want to be financially secure. But, when you peel back the layers of what that financial security is the financial security that white men in this society can achieve. And typically, it's not even all white men. You ladies are really wanting to date Jewish white men. And I think that you guys need to be real about that. Like a lot of these women, that's who you're really dating over there in the Democratic side, right? And I think that that's a whole other conversation too about even the delineation among white looking people in this nation, because even they don't even, they will say that one group of white looking folks is not like them, right? But I say this to say that Democratic women, I think that they have fallen for this idea of white men, right? And they're conflating all white men. And I don't even think that they realize which of the white men that they're dating, but they're on a strike now. All right. And they are not, they're not happy with the fact that Kamala Harris did not win, even though, and, she was their great hope, and so he's going to go into how these sisters were talking about white men before Kamala lost, right? Let's go here. We really failed our own country. Okay, this is one chick, right?
This lady said, "We have really failed our country." She went on to say, "I see why other countries laugh at Americans." But back in 2021, when Joe Biden was in office, she said this, "I ain't gonna lie, some of the whites be looking real good." Now, throughout this video, that's what you're going to be seeing throughout this video.
So this is what he's about to do now. He's about to demonstrate the flip-flopping or mental illness of some of these black Democrat women towards white men, pre, this election and post this election, how quickly people change.
This video, right? when Joe Biden was in office, back in
And I'm gonna
2023,
link
back in
this in my live
2022,
stream so you guys
you
can
love
check
the
it out
white
because the
folks. You
brother
love the
just
white
hits on a
folks,
lot
right?
of
Now,
points.
the white folks show their ass. Now, all of a sudden, we have failed the country. We have failed the country. Let's continue. Back in 2021, she said this. Lately, the whites been getting at me. Let me see what that's like.
So
Oh,
she's all open to these white dudes, right? Has zero problems interracially
oh,
dating.
oh.
This is in
The whites was getting at
2021
you 3 years
when
ago. You
Biden
wanted to see
won.
what it was like. Okay, let's continue. Back in 2022, when Joe Biden was in office, y'all can have the niggas. I'm going for the white man. Oh, okay. I bet. All right, let's continue. Back in
These are what they call
2022, she said this.
divestors.
These 45 plus year old whites be looking good. Oh, so she was looking for Donald Trump 2 years ago. See, she was looking for Donald Trump, right? She was looking for Donald Trump. She was looking for the Donald Trump archetype, right? The white rich businessman, right? That was the archetype she was looking for 2 years ago. But now Donald Trump is in office. Now all of a sudden we have failed the country. Let's continue. Fast forward a year later, 2023, she said this. I can't date outside my race. I tried it, and it just turns out it's just a fetish. I'm cool.
It is, I wonder what she meant by that. Because I will tell you this, there are a lot of white men that claim that they're into black women, but it really is exactly what she is saying. It's a fetish. They just want to see what it's like to be with a black woman. They're not truly interested in being in a real relationship with black women, many of them. That's why I don't really take any relationship outside of black men seriously because I just never had a reason to. What I mean? It's really just fun for them, right? Many of them. Now, don't get me wrong. I know people who are in committed interracial relationships. They have been married for years. These people are happy. Good for them, right? And I think that if you peel back the layer of many of those circumstances, you'll see a number of reasons why, right? But I think a lot of people they think they're into interracial relationships when really they're just into interracial sex, and those are two different things. And so, I mean, I know right off the bat when I'm talking to a white guy, and he say something like, "I've never been with a black woman before," I'd be like, "Well, your ass ain't gonna be with one today. See ya." You know what I mean? Because and that's how you already know that they are in it for a curiosity. They're not really a lot of these dudes really ain't in it to wife a black woman up. They will have sex with us all day, right? But at the end of the day, they're going to marry somebody that looks like them more times than not. You know what I mean? It's just kind of what it is.
Now, brothers, this is what we call the divestors to the pro-black pipeline. This is what I call the divester to the pro-black pipeline, right? That's when they start
And
talking.
see, here's the thing. I feel like there should be some clarity on this whole divester thing because obviously this is a conscious black brother. He has very firm convictions about, his opinions of interracially dating. I get that, but to me, a divestment to me is only when, there's some intention there. You're doing it with intent. So if you happen to be at the music store and you get into a conversation with somebody of an opposite race, you guys vibe and blah, blah, blah. Life happens. It's organic. You're not going in it like I'm running around like I'm want to date a white guy. You know what I mean? That's intent. I'm working with a purpose here that I want specifically a white guy. But if I just happen to meet a guy and he just happens to be white and we were just vibing like that, it just happened. Life happened as it should, right? But I feel like to me, I'm thinking of a divester as somebody who is intentionally, they're operating with an intent that I need to achieve having a white guy because white guys can give me this level of security and peace of mind that black men don't have. That's kind of what I'm thinking of when these people are talking about divestors, right? You cannot be talking about every single person that's in an interracial relationship because a lot of people, they're in these relationships, some of them, not with any type of intent of even falling in love. It just kind of happened. So, I don't have a staunch, ignorant position that, people, who are in black women who are in interracial relationships, and they're in those relationships because it just kind of, they were around this person a lot, they grew on this person a lot, it just kind of happened, right? And it's not she was walking around like, I want a white man instead of a black man. I don't look at sisters like that as being the divestors. They're just human beings who happen to fall in love with somebody that wasn't their race, right? I only look at the people who are running around saying that I want a white man because of X, Y, and Z reason that a black man cannot fulfill. That those to me are divestors.
Talking about,
I would
I
think it
just
would be
want a
very
black man.
ignorant
I
to
just want a
say
black
that all
family.
interracial
I just want a
couples
good
that
black
include
man.
a black
Yeah, I was
woman,
with the white
that woman is divesting from black men.
man
Just
back in
like
the
I don't
day,
think that
but
all
that's
black
behind me.
men
I put
who
that in
are
the
with
past
white
now.
women
In my future, I
are
want a black man. I want a
divesting. They could
strong,
have been
intelligent black
childhood
man.
friends that
And
grew
like
up
I said
together and
before,
stuff.
brothers, you're
And
gonna
it's
see
like
a
you're
lot
telling
of
me
this
he's
over the
not
next
allowed
couple
to fall
years
in love with his
as Trump
childhood
gets in office,
friend.
begins to implement his policies. You're gonna see a
But then
lot of women
again,
who
there are brothers, who have a specific reason why they prefer white women over black women. Like that Brandon Tatum guy, that idiot, like that dude, Donkey Kong, right? Bro, he has videos about why he chose his white wife over a black woman. Ignorant Negroes like that. That is a divester to me.
back in the day they was together. Our suicide hotline been ringing up. I can don't care.
I want to
This
go
that black white,
into.
right? And as a black man, you can vote. 2023, when Joe Biden was in office, she said this at the top: "I'm trying my hardest to have a black family, but it's definitely looking like I'm not making the cut." Now, what do I tell y'all brothers? They always try to run back to the black man with their kente cloth and their dashikis on. Now, just a couple years ago, she was saying that, listen, I'm with the rich white man because I'm getting reparations, right?
I
So
mean, I think you should kind of ease up a little, brother, because ain't nobody running back to these black men. It's just like they've seen the light, and it's like, okay, maybe I should stick to my own. Like, I mean, there's some of these
a year
brothers be
later, I
exaggerating
guess it
shit.
fizzled out. I guess it didn't work out. Now she's talking about I want a black family. Now her friend responded to her and said that you've been finished. I guess being saying like you've been finished with the black man, like you've been with the white man. Like what are you talking about? And then she responded. She said this: I was with the black man for a year. Save it. And then her friend responded and said, I never saw it. And then she responded and said, he wasn't doing enough to be seen. I'm going back to the home team. Basically saying, I guess you're going back to the white man, right? This was the last year, last October. Now let's continue. Back in 2021, she said this: even though I have a history of dating the whites, I want the record to be straight that I want black kids. Jesus Christ. Now, like I said, Donald Trump
This
is
is
in
so
office. Now she's talking about
complicated.
everybody committed suicide. God damn. Man, you got to stay away from these Democrat divestors, man. These Democrat divestors, boy. Let's continue.
They're
Next
not
case study.
stable.
This lady said she reacted to the election and she said this: I'm honestly about to check out her politics. She went on to say, I don't want to talk to a single white person today. She went on to say, this is another example of white women fucking us over again. Basically saying she's upset due to the fact that white women voted in lockstep with their men. And I did a video on that topic last night entitled The Reason Why White Women Voted for Donald Trump. Check it out. She went on to say, Jersey almost went to Trump too. What the fuck is going on? And then she put the crying face, the tear falling down her cheek, right? Now,
Democrat
just 2 years
black
ago, when
women are
Joe Biden
having
was in
a
office, when the
conniption
Democrats
fit
were in
right
office, like I
now.
told you, black folks get a rock to sleep. She was saying this: if this guy breaks my heart, I'm swearing off white men for the rest of my life. 3 years ago, she said this when Joe Biden was in office: what if my husband is a white man? Fast forward to last summer, right? Last June, she said this. I'm not even
Democratic
gonna
black
repeat it. You
women
have
are
to look up on the
turning on
screen and
white,
read it. I'm not gonna
the
repeat that
Democratic
nonsense.
white men.
But like I said, divestors to the pro-black pipeline. Now, 2 months after that, she said this: I honestly prefer to date American black men, right? See, back in 2022, she was like, man, if the white man breaks my heart, I'm done with white men. I'm swearing off white men forever. Then a year later, I honestly prefer to date black men. I love black men, right? Last November, she said this.
I mean, as flip floppy as black women are with these white men, I can understand why many of them are like, we'll just have some fun with them because we're just fun to them, right? A lot of these Democratic black women, they can turn their interests of white men on and off, it seems, depending on how the election sways. So if Kamala would have won, then the white guys would be okay with, swirling around with their black women playing in the snow. They wouldn't have had any issue with that if Kamala would have won. But because Trump won, now these black women who have been invested in their white men, now they have turned on them. This is
I love watching
insane.
black men exist. My God, bro. Expect a lot of this over the next couple years, man. Expect a lot of women who was running around with the white man, serving the black man. I mean, the black man is just so amazing, man. I mean, the black man is so astounded and said this. Pasta and lobster, in my experience, they are deeply respectful, passionately romantic, and being with the whites have normalized fairy tale courtship and goddess treatment for me, especially as a black woman, which I never received from black men. Their chivalry and devotion is unmatched. Now, brothers, when I tell y'all that some of these women,
Well, here's the thing. Now, I don't like to rain on anybody's parade, but that is true. That is true, and I'm not going to say this of all black men, but they don't have the same chivalry as white men. They really don't. And I'm not trying to be funny. I think that, sometimes people get comfortable and they don't feel like they need to put forth the same effort for their women as other men will put forth for their women. And I mean, that is kind of true. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna sit up there. I defended black men all day, but when he's wrong, right? And a lot of these brothers, the chivalry game is lost upon them. And so when you got some white dude coming at you, finessing you in a way that like your brothers never had before, it does kind of send some women into like a confusion point. Like, I want this. I want to be treated like this. And this guy is willing to do it. So brothers do need to up their game in how they treat their women. These dudes are running around like some of them having all these high expectations of the black woman. They want her to stay in her place. They don't want some. I just want some peace from my black woman. I just want this. I just want this. I. What the fuck about her? Some of you Negroes are so damn self-centered that you don't know how to treat your women. That is exactly why other men of other races are becoming options to your women, because some of you guys are so a man's piece, but you have zero mindset about what a woman's piece is. And then you have the audacity to get mad when she finds that piece in a man that does not look like you. And some of you brothers would actually prefer for your sisters to be alone, miserable, without the structure of security, while she's waiting on y'all to get yourselves together to give her that security that you can lead all those things. So there is a deficiency that some of our brothers need to talk to each other about, that is very obvious. We can talk about black women all day. Oh, they bopping. Oh, they acting like men, right? They doing the same thing as men. What got these women to that point? See, there's always a root cause why women are doing outside of the social media and the media liberal machine of indoctrinating people and propagandizing people into being and doing certain things. There's still the root cause of a lot of you brothers, right? And how you treat your women and how you just have this entitlement to be treated by your women where you're not really reciprocating a whole lot. So, when I hear dudes talk about I just want woman like this, a man's piece, I be like, okay, tell me about your piece. Now tell me about the piece that you intend to create for the woman that you are expecting to be under your leadership. And these dudes get real tongue twisted. So, Don't be mad at white men who come in and steal and can define what peace they can create for these sisters. Up your game. Some of you guys need to up your game. Not talking about all the black brothers, but a lot of y'all need to up y'all game.
Women do some
I
amazing
mean,
marketing work, do some
these
amazing
women are divesting for a damn reason. They are divesting for a damn reason, right? And but I don't really buy into the mindset of divesting because of some idea of a better lot in life, that my struggle will be less if I am with this white man, because that could be true. But you could be you could begin with one of those inner bigots, and the minute you go off script or off code to something that he wants your ass to do, you might be a nigga for the evening. And then he's going to come back and apologize to you, right? So you got to be careful with some of these white men, because some of them are running around with inner bigotry, and you got to watch them.
advertising for the white man. I mean, bro, and with zero compensation, zero payment. They're not even doing it for the money. They doing it for free. They doing it unsolicited.
Well, that's because they're trying to get chose by these white men, right? The Democrats were in power in their mind. This is a great time to interracially explore, get myself a idea of a powerful white man, right? But now that Trump is elected, right, you know, their mindsets about white men are different, because again, they actually think that Democrat white men and conservative white men are actually the same type of white men. And they're really not. They're really not. There is a difference between your staunch liberal Democrat white guy and your conservative white guy, right? And I think if you're around enough of these different types of people long enough, you will kind of start seeing, that the conservative white dudes are a little bit more tolerable to deal with. They really are. I prefer the libertarians all day, but the conservative white dudes, they are a lot more tolerable to deal with than the Democratic white dudes, because a lot of those dudes, they are just as emotional as females. They have bitch like emotions. So the last thing a black woman is really going to want to do is tie up with a Democratic white guy, right? Because well, I won't say that, right? Because it's a one or two scenario. Either she's going to find a white guy that's just as activated as she could be, and it's going to be a toxic and abusive relationship, or she's going to find a beta male white man that's going to let her run all over his ass. Those are typically the options for black women when it comes to the Democrat. The conservative white dudes, they're not going to let you run over them. They probably, will have some sense of, I love you, babe, right? But you're just not going to be running around doing whatever you want to do. I do believe that, it's a lot more discipline over there dating those conservative white guys. They're not going to let you run through their money. They're not going to be letting you think that you're just going to be out here, just their mindsets are different. You know what I mean? They really are.
The white man didn't even ask for this. They doing it unsolicited, bro. And guess what? How come I never hear white women who actually be around these men their entire lives? How come white women don't echo these same sentiments, right? The women who marry them unmasked in the largest amount. How come white women don't share these sentiments about these men? You go to white women be saying terrible things about these men.
You know what? It is true. I've heard more black women give praise and glory to white men more than I've ever seen a white woman get on a mic and just talk about, just out there just praising and glorifying white men. I mean, I guess for them, maybe it goes without saying. Maybe they're just kind of used to having the access to these white men, so they don't have to get on the block and just really glorify them like that. But that is true.
You go to these women, oh my God, deeply respectful, the most respectful, chivalrous, devoted group of men ever. Yo, oh my God. And then when Donald Trump gets in office, who is literally the stereotypical image of the rich elite white man, all of a sudden everybody crying tears, everybody sad, everybody depressed, everybody calling a suicide hotline. What happened? I thought y'all loved the white man. Anyway, let's continue. So the lady responded and she said this: oh, so I'm gonna date white men. Thank you. Now, I thought this was funny in the conversation. This brother just entered the conversation unsolicited. He said this self-hate is real. He said this self-hate is real. Let's continue. Now, a few months later, the lady who was asking, hey, y'all girls who be dating the white man, tell me what it's like. A couple months later, she said this. Top of the year back in January, she said this. I told my girl at dinner today that I'm going to start dating whites. And she said, don't you worry, I'll pray to God to send you the right black man. Now, I don't know if y'all remember, but a couple months ago, Kamala Harris actually got an endorsement from Kerry Washington, the actress Kerry Washington, along with her co-host, her co-star on the TV show Scandal. That was a big TV show about 10 years ago, right? It was Kerry Washington, and I don't know the white dude's name, but they came out to a Kamala Harris rally and gave her the endorsement, right? And that's why I tell
It's
y'all boys,
crazy
if
to
Kamala,
me. Democrats, they talk so much about racism, and they'll have all these black people talking about white supremacy is a big threat to the nation, and white supremacy, I'm afraid to go to sleep because of white supremacy. And then you look at their mates, and I've said this before, you look at their mates and they're sleeping with a whole white person. It is insane to me. Kamala Harris, Kerry Washington, Ketanji Brown Jackson, the Supreme Court Justice, right? I think Ilhan Omar, one of the most vocal black looking person, even though she's an immigrant, right? She had a white dude on the Democratic side. It's just these people are double talking demons when it comes to their fear of white people because they really need to pick a struggle. These people are dating whole white people. And O'Shea Duke Jackson actually did a video, and he's talking about Van Jones, right? He's talking about Van Jones and how he's all crying for Kamala Harris, and he's all talking about how her loss and what it meant for certain people.
That's
And
why so many black women probably secretly voted for Trump, and black men too. You got your black women that did support Kamala Harris. Oh, but that number is increasing on the right because black women are seeing what has happened. Like, let's look at what's going on in professional sports. We have transgender. The term is transgender women that is being used today that are able to compete in some aspects in women's sports. So how is women being protected? We saw that in the Olympics, where this Algerian boxer was able to compete in women's boxing, and the lady on the other side had to quit because the punches were too hard. Because it was an actual man in that body hitting that lady with lower testosterone.
I'm glad Trump
but the
is
left
doing something
feels that's
about
okay.
that.
All right? Women's rights
That
are
don't make no damn
decreasing
sense.
under Democrats, under the left. It's not getting stronger, it's decreasing. Women, single mothers, are not getting richer under the left. Single mothers are getting poorer under the left. That's right, they're poorer. And this is a demographic allegedly you guys are supposed to protect. Why are those women suffering, Van Jones? Because you don't care about them. And think about this, in the last
That's
3
a
years,
very interesting point. He's saying that under the
you guys have lost 2
Democrats,
elections.
these
With
women are
what?
poorer.
More money. Think about this. More money. You guys raise way more money than Trump does. The country, all the big companies are Democratic for the most part. Apple, Google, Facebook, all of these companies are Democratic. You look, see what Elon Musk did. He had to buy X, and it's working. Okay? You guys automatically start off with, every year, so many electoral votes. You guys get California, that's automatically always blue. Sometimes Nevada, Arizona. We're going to be like that. They would have basically voted for you. But Van Jones goes around, talking about how much he loves the black community, black women. You don't see black Van Jones, trying to solve the issues that blacks have with Democrats. He doesn't care. He's on the Democratic payroll. What about the blacks in Georgia that showed up for Trump? The blacks in Wisconsin that showed up for Trump? Like, you guys have such an integrity problem. It is ridiculous. And then you sit there with the women that you deal with, Van Jones, are white, just like Shannon Sharp. Oh, you love, Donald Trump's a racist. And then who we see you with. And then we get secret recordings of Shannon Sharp. Oh, you don't point no dark-skinned woman towards me. Oh, wait a minute. So
Self-hating. Just these people are so damn self-hating and flip-floppy, right? Again, the Democrat racial dysphoria is real. But I just thought that it was very interesting that these black women are coming out and they are against white men. They're like, if I see you, I saw this one sister say, if I see you with a white man, um, let me see if I can find a sister. She says she don't want to see black women with white men after Trump won. Let me see if I can find her right quick, and then I'm gonna get off of here. Let me see if I can find that activated sister real quick, because she was pissed. She was really, 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 really pissed. Like, I don't want to see you. The black women are calling out white women who voted for Trump. Which is crazy because they convince them folks to vote for Kamala because of her race. And if people are just voting on race, why would you be mad at the white folks for voting for the white guy? Like, that's the game that they were playing anyway. So I don't really understand. I can't find this sister who was on TikTok, but basically she said that if she see black women with a white guy, she's going to beat their asses, right? These Democratic women are very upset right now. They are very upset right now. All right. And apparently they are on a white man strike because Kamala Harris lost and Donald Trump won. And apparently they are associating, I don't know what they're associating that with. Maybe it's a white supremacy thing in their brain. I don't know. But we do know that these black women are on a strike against the white men, and they have flip-flopped. When Biden and Harris were in office, when they won, right, they were like, white men are great. I'm going to start exploring, right? I'm going to, this is, Kamala loses, right? And they're like, white men, I don't want to see black women. We need to preserve the black family. Now they're all about black unity, black this, black this. And there was another blogger, she's crashing now because she was shilling hard for Kamala Harris.
And there was no coalition.
And she's in her feelings because now she realized that big old race struggle that the Democrats put together, they weren't really coalesced the way that she thought that they were. So
there was no allyship.
Yeah.
No matter what it is that they say, no matter what performative measures they took, there was no coalition. There was no allyship amongst POC groups and black people.
POC, people of color groups.
The numbers prove it. There was no coalition. There was no allyship. Not on a grand scale. Maybe on an individual basis. Black people in mass may have been in coalition with other groups, but that was not reciprocated. I don't care what their mouths say. I don't care what type of performance they try to give. The numbers don't lie. There was no coalition.
The herd in the Democrats, they're perplexed. Like they are like, I thought we were all together. We were all doing this. We were all coalesced. And the Hispanic, women and men, they were like, no, not so much. We're going to go ahead. We're voting for our money this time. We're not voting for this idea of a coalition. We're just going to vote for Trump because we care about our money. And that's what they did. And so that's another thing that the black Democrats are very perplexed about right now is there was
no allyship. And they just shouted it out to all of us. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
She was very upset.
There was...
The Democrats are just realizing we weren't all friends the way that we thought that we were friends. You know? This is sad. I pray for everybody. I really do. I pray for everybody. You guys, it looks like I don't even see my chat going. So I'm pretty sure YouTube is stopping it. I'll try to look at it. Let me see if I can see if there's some chat going, because I don't see nothing happen. I see 2 chats. Are there only 2 chats in here? Let me see. Let me go to the web version, because they definitely suppressing the chat from my phone. I can't even see if anybody's commenting or not. Let me see. I can't even see if anybody's commenting. Wow, you guys have been chatting this whole time? Whoa, I am so sorry, you guys. This view, like, I only see 2 people popped up and nothing else ever popped up. So I apologize to that. So let's see. I keep telling Black people Exodus has started moving out of that party. I think the awakening, the grand awakening, is absolutely happening, Harold. You said you offer no facts or sources. We are actually talking off of a video, and we're reading tweets about these folks, you know, divesting, going back and forth with their position. So you people are weird. You don't listen to comprehend, you listen to react. And again, over here, nobody cares about your feelings but you. I didn't see a lot of, I'm sorry, you guys. Like, I'm looking at my phone view. I only see comment from 1 person, and he commented twice. But here, it looks like y'all commented. So I apologize. Black folks started the Republican Party. Black people are conservatives at heart. I think the Democrats have has done a really good job making Black people, you know, this idea of liberal and Democrat, and they've narrated our people with their debauchery and stereotypes, and, you know, they've normalized a lot of Black representation that is actually just an insult to Black people. So what's up, Lil Rascal? I see you. But you guys, let me know what you think about this. Has your perspective on interracial dating changed since the election? Are you now realizing that you shouldn't date certain races because of an election outcome? You know, I believe that people should love who makes them happy, love who you want. You know, there are some people who have ideas of keeping their legacies, keeping their bloodlines, whatever that means, pure. And so just like you have a lot of white men who do not want to marry outside of their race or have children outside of their race, there are a lot of Black men who are also as adamant about that. But then there's other Black and white men who are in the camp of, I'm not going to go in, you know, with some idea of, you know, I'm not going to date my own women because of X, Y, and Z. And there are a lot of Black women who are like, I'm going to date whoever I meet. If they make me happy, whatever. And they're not divesting, meaning that they're not saying, I'm dating a white man because Black men X, Y, Z. It just so happened that somebody's sister just met a white dude. They hit it off or whatever, and they had a long-term relationship, right? And I don't think anybody should be hating on that. I want to see people happy, right? So whether you're happy with somebody that looks like you or don't look like you, as long as that person is a servant of the Most High and they can actually be a good leader to you in your household with the grace of God, then hey, do your thing. I am nobody to dictate to other people how to live their lives. You know, me personally, you know, I'd rather just, you know, align with somebody who understands what it is like to be me and to struggle like me, to be stereotyped like me, I rather just deal with people who understand those types of things. So you guys have a wonderful day, and love who you want, right? Just don't be running around having stupid ass reasons is my thing. We're going to pray for our Democratic sisters who are fleeing white men and returning to black men. Hopefully these black men will open their arms to you and accept you. And if they don't, just take your ass back to the white men, right? But, find love how you find it. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.